Joining me today on Author's Note is best-selling author Viola Shipman, who is really Wade Rouse. Viola Shipman books are infused with heart, love, wit. I am a super fan. There's a Midwestern sensibility to all of them, which I absolutely love. And because of that, you've gained thousands of fans worldwide. Viola/Wade is here with us today for Author's Note. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here today.
So you're one of these authors, I believe, you're Ellen Hildebrand. Like, you are someone that I've been following for a long time and enjoying, and now it feels like you're getting that recognition that more and more people are starting to know. You know, you're on the Today Show and the GMAs and all that. What does it feel like to finally, all these years, just to see how people are finally, I mean, you're almost a household name now.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. My agent always says that being an overnight success takes about 20 years. So I kind of feel like it's been that way. Next year is the 20th anniversary of my very first book being published. And, I still believe in old school word of mouth that, one reader loves a book and they recommend it to another reader, to their book club, to their mother, to their grandmother, to their sister, to their daughter, whatever. And that starts the ripple going, and that ripple continues to grow. And that's I've been kind of a grassroots author over the last 20 years, and it's finally kind of reaching tidal wave stage. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with it.
It's well deserved, but I think that's a really good lesson too. It's that you have been, you always tour, you always do all these things to get the word out. So if people don't know, Viola, I know the story of Viola because I'm a ridiculously annoying fan, but who who is Viola?
I like that. You're not up to microchip, stage yet, but we'll see. Yeah, that's my grandma. Viola Shipman is my grandmother's name, and I grew up in the Missouri Ozarks. And for those who don't know, my grandmother was a working poor seamstress who stitched overalls at a factory her whole life. She never finished high school. She never learned to drive. And yet, although her voice was overlooked in society because she had really no money or no power, I listened. I listened to the stories she told of our family. I listened to the lessons she taught me. I listened to the stories that she shared with me, not only her, but my great aunts. All of the women at the beauty parlor when my grandmother would go to get her hair did every Saturday, I would be with her. At Sunday school, I listened to my grandmother, and her voice resonated with me and is the reason I am the person I am today and write the novels that I do. And this is just, my thank you to her, so that when I'm no longer here, 50 years, 100 years from now, people will still be saying her name, and that's much deserved. I just want people to link back to their family histories.
What do you want readers to feel when they read your books?
Hope. We live in an incredibly divisive world right now, where we tend to focus more on the things that separate us than bring us together. And my grandma Shipman used to always say, life's as short as one blink of God's eye, but we forget in that blink what matters most. And we forget in that blink today what matters most. And what I want my books to do is bridge a gap, remind readers that there really is more that brings us together than separates us, and to provide hope. Out there, there's someone right now who needs a rope. They are floating in the lake, somewhere adrift, and they need just a tether to know that it's going to be okay. And that's what I hope my books do. And that's why I wrote The Page Turner. I wanted just to write a book about how books and reading change and save us.
I was just going to get to that. I've got it here in my hot little hand. Lucky me. So the page turner comes out here we are in April, ready for the release. So it's a celebration of reading and shows really how reading can save and change us. Talk a little bit about that. I think obviously I'm an avid reader. You are. We became authors, but it's so important in life. Talk a little bit about how reading can save us.
Yeah, I'm always amazed if I meet a person that says they haven't read a book, and I'm like, what? For me, growing up in the Missouri Ozarks in the 70s, libraries and books were what saved me. Both my grandmothers volunteered at our local library. That was kind of my refuge, and I saw in the books that I read that there was a bigger world out there. There were people that would love and accept me in this world, and that that I shouldn't change, that I should be myself. My uniqueness would be what would make me um, good in this world, and my voice. And that's what this book is about, and that's what books do. You know, they allow us to walk in someone else's shoes, they take us on a journey without ever leaving our house. And more than anything, they bridge that gap. They allow us to see someone else's point of view through our own eyes. And that changes us incredibly. So, you know, if you haven't yet read a book in a recent time period, grab the page turner.
Absolutely, grab the page turner. Now, you're going to be in Toledo for a huge event, April 16th. What kind of event? When people come, do you read to them? Like, talk about when people come to the event, what they can experience for your speaking engagement.
I try to really personalize my events. You know, what you see is what you get. I am not kind of a run-of-the-mill author that stands back and kind of, you know, views everything from a distance. I'm a hugger. I'm a lover. Um, I usually probably for Toledo, I will give a speech about, you know, how libraries really saved my life along with my grandmother and how that led me to be a writer. I guarantee there will be a lot of laughter, there will be a lot of tears, and I hope that people feel deeply connected to me. And you know, every single person that's in line, I'm sure I'm going to give a big hug on because I grew up in hugging families. So that's what they get when they come to see me. It's a you know I call it a love fest, and I hope that's what people. I hope they walk out feeling great.
I think they will. I want everyone to remind everyone all you need to do is go to your website to see more information on your event. Again, it is coming up here April 16th, but this book, April 8th, I have it again. I have an early copy, but I'm very excited about it, and it's going to be, I think, the book of the summer. Thank you so much, Wade.
Thank you for having me.